Bang.
There we go.
Drop the mic.
Straight in there.
Straight dropping the beat.
Getting recording on the go.
Well, yeah, consent is for some people. When you're creating a hyper object at the end of time, I mean, whatever. I don't know.
A hyper object at the end of time. I love it, man. I love
it. Fucking memes, man. Ideas. They just get you. And they get into your brain and then they become somehow yours too.
All good. All good. Where are you?
I am walking the dog. I'm here in Amsterdam. This is the Wester Park. That's Willow. Say hi, Willow. How you doing?
Yeah. Hello, Willow.
Yeah. Willow is a blind dog, which makes me a seeing eye human, which is a joke that never gets old. Always slaps. Always good. It's not the life. It's not the life I wanted for myself, but it is the life I fell into. She's a good dog.
It's good. It's good. It's good to have a purpose.
Yeah, exactly. To be of service, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
To reduce, to invert the normal hierarchy, right? And serve the nature.
Yeah, right? Exactly. I need to write you a visible value token for that one for sure.
Yeah. Word.
I think that's going to get you some advanced access into spaces.
Yeah. In the future, right?
Exactly.
The Council of Non-Humans.
Exactly. You know, do you know actually about the council of, I think it's called the Council of Interbeing, or I can't remember. It's Joanna Macy's thing. I think you've
yeah. Sounds like the vibe.
What's that?
Like the vibe. I was just going through the work that reconnects again yesterday.
Ah, right. Awesome. Very good.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Is she still with us? I thought she was on hospice.
I think she's on the way out, but I haven't seen any message that she's gone. And
well, shout out to Joanna Macy. Fucking
yeah, we love you, Joanna.
Thanks for changing the game. All right, we got this.
Exactly. We'll have to send her this one.
Yeah, no doubt. I got actual goosebumps right now.
So what's your connection to, well, I mean, obviously you were going to be in coherence. I mean, incoherence, not incoherent, although
I mean, both same. It's a circle, they're connected.
Exactly. I think part of it, yeah, I think to me that's also part of the vibe. I kind of like, there's something about coherence. I'm like, oh, you want consensus? I'm not down with that.
Yeah. I don't know. I have it's funny. I had a very specific visualization when I was meditating in like 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember I'm going to go with this the nerdy way. I remember a pulsar, like, right? Fucking lighthouse, but spinning in all fucking different directions, right? Far off in a fucking sea of black, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that as that beam of light sort of swept across me in this chaotic manner, that not only was I blinded, but it was because I could see the path towards it.
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment of seeing the path, I could always also take a step towards it. And while it seemed wild and random, like the way it was spinning and moving around and fluctuating at first, I noticed that I had the ability to influence it and to bathe myself in that light from time to time. And I think that's the way I conceptualize the path. And I think that interaction between whatever that future state and myself is, that's the cohering that I'm interested in.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense as a metaphor, and I think that's also the
It's not a
analogy I.
metaphor, Jay. I saw it. I saw it.
Okay, true. I can only work with it as a metaphor though,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it relates to something I had, which was I took ayahuasca and I was making peace with religion because I had real issues with it, and
yeah.
and I realized that at the time I was more atheistic leaning, and I was like, well, actually, like most of this stuff, like the concept of oneness, that we are all of the same being becoming,
Hmm.
etc.
Yeah,
I can grok that intellectually, and pretty much every religion kind of points to that
yeah.
path. So or that peak. So what's my issue? And I realized the issue wasn't the people walking the path; it was the people that were arguing at the crossroads over which direction to take. And
Ah,
so it's I think it's about kind of keeping, like, having a clarity of what we're walking towards, what's
mm,
guiding us, the direction we're going in,
sure.
and then waving at other people occasionally on the way, and
Yeah.
sharing what we discover on the way that can help us get there more quickly. It's like, okay, guys, I've
Or,
found a route over here. Great. Okay. You're
uh-huh.
invited to join me. No, I'm good
Hmm.
here. Good, you're finding your way.
Yeah, yeah,
And,
yeah. Let us know how. Send a field report. You know,
exactly. If you find
we'll
something that
meet you at
helps
the
us
next
get
joint
there,
point.
then if you find something that helps us get there, then share it, and let's go on that.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
yeah, so it's I think it's a good operational principle to work from.
Yeah,
So yeah, what are you finding on your way at the moment? What's the
yeah, yeah. This is very much on vibe. It's funny, right? I think there's. I don't know, Jay. I'm in such a fucking moment right now, my nerd. Like everything is just fucking both in crisis, up for grabs, and being reevaluated and integrated
mm-hmm.
in the ways and in the way that I've been longing for like my whole fucking life, but I've only been able to like scratch the surface at now.
Mm,
Like 42 years fucking later, I can fucking get a piece of it. This thing I've been fucking intuiting. Uh, but it's dope that it's fucking happening nevertheless, even if it's a pain in the balls.
yeah.
Um,
Excuse me a second, Jeremy. Hang on.
mhm.
Sorry. Sorry, just okay. I'm back. I'm back. You're surfing. Yeah,
Oh,
just had
word.
to. Yeah, my daughter just wanted to arrange some time on the distraction.
Yeah,
So
yeah. The
didn't
life
know
is
what to do.
life for sure, for
Yeah.
sure.
So you were saying.
Um, like for sure, we are four-dimensional beings hopping into a three-dimensional plane of existence. Um, and this is what that feels like.
Yeah.
And despite every fucking nerd in the world having written this shit down and tried to describe how we should do that, how we should
Mm,
be a fourth dimensional being in a three-dimensional experience, like it's really that act of cohering is really hard.
mm,
It's like really hard to actually do. Like
yeah.
it's easy to imagine or to conceptualize, right? To abstract.
Mm,
Like it's easy to get to how it works, but it's hard to actually like get into your fucking body and do the shit, right?
mm,
I've
yeah.
been and I think this is like a universal conversation, right? I've been having conversations about regeneration for fucking the last 5 years.
Mm,
And like I'm barely scratching the surface at actually doing the thing in the
yeah.
place that I live, right?
Yeah.
It's so much easier to like jibber jabber about shit than it is to like put on your fucking big boy underpants, strap on your boots, and like pick up a shovel, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think part of that is also that because when the body's needs aren't met, then it sends the spirit back into crisis,
Word,
and we just get pulled out of it again.
no doubt.
That we need to. It's part of the work is looking after ourselves and looking after each other on a practical level. So as we
Hmm.
build it on a larger cellular level, we can construct what we're doing. And I think part of the it's always been part of the challenge for me is I've lived most of my life in my mind,
Yep.
and anchoring in the body and in the ground, and really connecting with, okay, what's going on right now. Okay, I want to be doing this thing, but I'm hungry. That's interfering. Okay, just fucking eat.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like, yes, there
exactly.
is
Yeah, exactly. When you
there is
can't
a
keep your
purpose,
eyes
but we
open,
can't. Yeah, exactly. You can't ignore it.
yeah.
There are needs there, and we need to
Come on,
account for
let's
them.
go.
And
Yeah, for sure.
when we take care of them, then we can focus on the shit that needs to be done.
Yeah.
And then yeah, there's also those spiritual needs and everything else that goes along with that we're getting the feedback loops of the nutrient flows, the emotional flows, that we can just focus on then doing the thing that we're doing to expand the resources that are available for everybody else.
Yeah, no doubt. And this is so I come back to, man, there's so many fucking threads here, Jay. Hold on, let's pick carefully. Let's pick carefully.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That was going to be. This was actually one of the things I was wondering, is like whether we need like a podcast format or a theme or a frame for for each discussion. Like what is the specific pattern in the cloth that we're exploring
Mm-hmm.
on any given day, or so on, because there are so many different threads we're picking up on.
Yeah.
So if we're focused on weaving together particular threads, the I think the tendency is we tend to go, oh, hang on, like, we've got this tangled mass that I need to
Yeah.
somehow explain what is going on. Excuse me, my
Uh,
boy just woke up. Hang on a
yeah.
moment. Give me a
Oh,
sec.
good.
All right. Sorry about that.
All good.
Yeah, my son just woke up. Did something.
Perfect timing.
Yeah,
Perfect
yeah.
timing. Well, I mean, it gave me the exact opportunity I needed to answer the question that was at hand, which is which one of these threads?
Yeah, good, good. Okay, so which one should we pull on today?
Yeah. So there is, um, so there's something coming together about the both the necessary conditions that I've been observing that have been making it possible for me to like get my shit together. Um, and the flow of that information and experiences mostly, right?
Mm-hmm.
So for background context for everybody on the internet or who gives a shit is that like I met Jay just a few weeks ago in Berlin, and I would say part of our interaction was a significantly transformative experience for me, especially the closing circle. So we were at this culture festival in fucking Berlin. There were
Oh, that
vibes, there were
closing
yurts.
circle was epic.
Yeah, the closing circle was fucking epic, right? So we in this carnival of culture thing in Berlin, huge fucking party, mostly centered around drinking, music, and dancing, and food, of course. Um, we were fucking running workshops with a bunch of nerds and shit in a fucking couple of yurts, and the vibes were great. From my experience, I knew those nerds when I came, and Jay fucking dropped out of the ether and like entered the fucking game in a way that to me is indicative of this trend that is like this is the vibe. Like it's a convergent evolution that
Mm,
that like through all these different experiences, all these different sort of paths, like we are finding each other um, in the similar spaces with very similar like kits. So that being the case, the closing circle, like fucking the closing circle, like two nerds performing live music, nerd on synthesizer doing drums. Power goes out, fucking drums. And so he invites the audience to provide percussion, a major feature, definitely not a bug whatsoever. And that was the fucking dopest shit ever. And the experience that for me was so significant and transformative was this moment towards the closing, the end of the closing circle, when we're all there being percussion together, and I can just literally everywhere I look, I see like a highly trusted contemporary, right?
mm,
A person with whom there is extraordinarily high resonance and like just great vibes. And so I noticed, everywhere I looked, there was like one of my best friends. And in that context, like there was this awareness of like, oh, when you're around the right people, this shit is easy. Like this shit is just happening. Like it's
yeah.
automatic. And in that context, I remember turning the vibe up and having the vibe turned up on me, right?
Mm,
And that experience of recognition of, oh, when we are together, when we are actually like really enmeshed in this way,
mm,
like the epic and legendary becomes every day, right? It
yeah.
becomes like it just happens. Like all the things that I could, but I have literally spent years of fucking therapy and fucking trying to deal with my shit to do all by my lonesome. Just fucking happens in the blink of an eye. And
Mm,
I fucking feel the sense of belonging that I have, been looking for in one way or another. And the way that experience has opened up this possibility for containment, for processing, especially somatic information, especially emotion, in a much more fucking a much less enacted way. And that is interesting.
can you like elaborate a little bit on what you mean by emotion in a less enacted way?
Yeah, so lots of beautiful women saying beautiful things to me, um, like that have been influential, some of which recently have been that what is not contained is enacted, right? From an emotional perspective. Every feeling sensation, right, that is not in the foreground of my awareness,
Mm-hmm.
that is by definition in the unconscious, is in the shadow.
Mm.
What is not contained becomes enacted. It starts driving my behavior in ways
Mm-hmm.
that I'm not aware of. Whereas the things that are contained, that are in the foreground of my intention, don't
Mm-hmm.
influence my behavior in the same way.
Mm.
They, they, because they're in the foreground of my attention, my behavior is able to contain them. They don't drive my behavior.
Mm.
Um, and the distinction between that, I think, another phenomenal human. So I'm going to shout out. I'm going to shout out all the humans. No, none of the humans today. I think we're gonna. You know who you are, nerds. Um, I don't. I don't. I do. I should I cite my source? Let's cite my sources. So Serra said, "I'm gonna. Let me try that again. Hold on. Serra. I think that's. I hope that's proper.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me really sweaty to try that in a recorded form. At any rate, she told me that um, wisdom has something to do with the processing of emotional information.
Mm-hmm.
No, like, and I'm noticing a connection between that processing and that sense of containment. It has to do with putting what is distressing or just any emotional information, putting sensorial information in the foreground of my attention.
Mm.
And what I notice is I don't have much room
Mm-hmm.
after that. There's
Yeah.
like, whew, yeah. So yeah, and my other source is Sarah, of course.
Yeah.
So these two divine humans are complexing to fucking dump wisdom into my brain, even though I seem to be very, very averse to it.
No, I think there's some really interesting things to pick up on. And I think actually like the dance floor and like making music together and like this kind of this space is really interesting to work with on this kind of idea of convergence and adaptation and everything else, because you like, but also it's like you say, foregrounding the intention. Like, how many people listen to music and they don't even set the intention of having a good fucking time, right? It's like, why are you even here? Why are you on the dance? Like, you want to
That's
be
all right.
seen and yet you don't want to show yourself.
Yeah.
um and
Hmm.
and and so it's like you have this kind of wallflower vibe of people like uncomfortable, like not getting into their bodies, not understand, like not
Yeah.
not actually just in foregrounding, enjoying themselves and having a good time.
Yeah.
But also you've got this invitation that was given to create to
Hmm.
create the beat. That's kind of the musicians are setting the tone, setting the floor, whether it's
Hmm.
a DJ or
Yeah. Well, it
um
literally makes the whole experience participatory
yeah,
rather
yeah,
than as a spectator, right?
yeah, exactly. So, and I'm kind of drawing parallels also with this and my own, like, I don't know if you know about the Maker Labs, but this was something that I used to do in Berlin, was to create these co-created, not create, but co-create these events. And I would help facilitate it. And the core really was a story. Like, we have this space and we have this opportunity to come together and do something within this time framework.
Yep.
And then we might have a theme. It's always better, I think, to have some kind of theme or framework to work with. Sometimes that theme is set by the event. Other times it was set by an external source, like we did one, the Maker Lab for human rights, for example. And then from that, it's like, what do you want to bring into this space? What do you want to contribute to it? and what do you want to benefit from it. So you have an intentionality of how and why you participate. And at these events, people would come together, and it would get to the point where at the last Human Rights Maker Lab, I was in Las Vegas selling 3D printers for 3 days before the event. I show up, the whole space is constructed for less than €1,000. This was 250 square meters of space, with tables, chairs, a gallery made from, I don't know, maybe 300 recycled glass panes that one participant had looked out her window and had seen one morning and went, oh, that's for the Maker Lab. and then the design team had turned that into a gallery. At the other end was a 3-meter high tower, which I said you can only build if you get all of the tables, the furniture for seating, the display boards, the kitchen, all of those things. Those things are built, then you can get the tower built. And of course, the tower is there because that was their fun. That was the part that they wanted to do. But having this frame, this invitation, and how to be in a space where you're extending the invitation, that you're moving. So on one hand, you're showing what you want people to do, which is what we were doing on the floor. You know, like this is the vibe. This is the vibe, and by being in the fullness of the vibe and the fullness of your being, you are showing clearly, like, this is the vibe, this is what we want to create. And also creates permission for other people to express their own vibe just by being in that space,
right?
And then to be actively inviting other people into it. And yeah, it's always fascinating how these things, you know, like dance circles form. You know, like a couple of people like, oh yeah, we're going to have a dance off, and then the circle forms, then they invite people into the circle. Everybody gets the pattern, they understand the pattern. What are these specific patterns that we can create around what we're doing and around the regeneration? What are the small vibes and moves that people can do together? Because I think also it's about those small vibes towards a higher purpose, that can move things, because people don't need to grok the whole thing. They don't need to understand like the full meta framework. They just need to understand, like, okay, we're here right now. What is the thing that we're going to do in this moment, or that we can do on daily moments, that we can join the vibe? What's the invitation that we can immediately participate and get on board? Not, okay, here's a like 120-page manifesto, or this is what this thing is that you're invited to join. No, it needs to just be like, oh no, actually, okay, people are dancing, they're having fun, they're enjoying themselves. They don't need to know like the full. Like,
you don't need to watch the 4-hour Daniel Schmachtenberger documentary on the meta crisis before you can get into the dance.
Exactly. And it's always that's always the thing. It's like, okay, right, I just told you something, and then somebody would go, oh, have you read this book on this? You should really read this book. No, I don't have time to read this fucking book. Tell me now what's in that book that's relevant to what I'm doing. If you can't do that, then why did you read the fucking book?
Yeah, show me, nerd.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, that's beautiful, man. That's really beautiful.
Yeah. This is the largest and only waterfall in the Netherlands. It is, like most water features, artificial, but it is beautiful.
Wow. It is. I didn't even notice the waterfall, to be honest. I was more into everything around the water. All of the life growing around it. But
the riparian zone.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Sure.
So I think that's a very clear pattern coming through. I think we're getting somewhere. Also, like, pairing with this, I came up with over that weekend, or just shortly after. Well, not came up with, I think that's the wrong way to frame it. It came through me.
Yeah.
It's always.
It was revealed.
It was revealed. It's like, yeah, we need to normalize saying shit like this, because actually it's more healthy. I mean, it sounds like
For
It
sure.
sounds insane, but it's more truthful than
Oh yeah.
than going, I didn't fucking come up with it, just observation. But when you have these
All right.
free feedback loops, so you've got the emotional feedback loop, the material feedback loop, and the informational feedback loop, which basically means like you can see what's going on, you feel good about it, and you can see what you can do to join, right? And
Yeah.
if you've got those, and each of those things is creating something positive and generating
Yeah.
something else.
Exactly.
So
We're flowing, baby. We're flowing.
yeah. So then I guess the flip side of that is you can share what's going on with other people. They're receiving the vibe from you, and they can clearly, easily, and are capable of taking the same action that you're taking. And then you get something which is growing in a viral form in the physical world, because it's
Yeah.
easy to replicate, and because those three things are aligned, there is absolutely zero resistance when you get down to that core
Yeah.
that core move.
Yeah. Yeah. Nothing is missing.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, exactly.
So it becomes, yeah, it becomes like it literally comes to life.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
It literally has a self-organizing like criticality of its own that is like that is growing and developing. And I think the cultural process of of that of that pattern
mm,
is more significant than any like specific instance of that pattern. So like um if it was a thing that I designed, like I designed the perfect flow to get
mm.
us into that state, it would be vastly inferior than like us fucking around and finding out together. Right.
Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So what, yeah, that's I guess then the question is like, yeah, how do we create those spaces of fucking around and finding out?
I,
Um
I mean, it doesn't, I think, I don't, so I wonder, because it sounds like
and find
I'll be,
out.
it sounds like Jay, like if
Yeah.
I can reflect back to
Yeah.
you, one of the reasons I fuck with you, and the reason I think that you're an appropriate person for this call,
Yeah.
which I see as like the opening of like a personal season of this is the vibe, right? I'm
Mm,
trying to vibe with nerds who
yeah.
I have experienced in particular have a
Mm,
way of articulating the same shit that be in my brain. Like
mm,
everything you just put down about the
yeah.
maker spaces, I
Yeah.
could say copy and paste, and that is Regens Unite, right? We fucking
Awesome.
we put together a call to action, and around a fucking time and date, and we
Mm,
fucking invite nerds to populate that space.
yeah.
And so I think this is the vibe, right?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
this is the vibe, right? And I've
Yeah.
got a fucking I got a handbook. I got a fucking everybody's got a goddamn handbook on how to do this shit, right? So the question of how to do it is kind of like it's kind of
We
solved for.
yeah.
It's
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
like
Yeah.
again, it's like comes back to like the conceptualizing versus the doing. Like
Mm,
the
yeah.
conceptual design is there and it's solid,
Mm,
it's sound. Like you can fucking pick it up and run with it. And no matter what the success of the manifestation of it is,
mm,
you are part of the virtuous process of
yeah.
progress, right?
Yeah.
So like that part is like to me like pretty clear and addressed. Like the actual doing of the thing,
Mm,
yeah. Oh man, could use some more. Could use some more shoulders. Use some more.
mm,
I don't even know if we could use more shoulders, but we could use more like connection
mm,
between the places that are doing the thing. But
yeah.
I'm also, I have inner conflict. I also I'm very confident and okay with this shit being super ultra mega underground and
Mm,
never and like I think of course we're in the place where it's gonna finally go it's gonna finally
mm,
go right? It's finally going to become the singularity, as I refer to it, that moment when it becomes culturally relevant and the mainstream becomes aware of what is happening here.
Yeah.
Like that's going to change the vibe dramatically. So I'm also really happy for these early moments of like nascency and like, yeah, I'm sort of like I'm pre-nostalgic of like, do you remember those quaint times when we were just doing the thing and it felt like, it felt like, we weren't, it felt like we were groping in the dark and we weren't so extraordinarily self-aware that the entire world was resting on our ability to do the thing, you know?
Yeah.
But we can, I don't know. Yeah, so there's something in there. There's something in there about like, yes, let's get more of this shit. And like, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen sooner or later. So I'm no longer horny on making it happen. Right.
Yeah.
I no longer want to interface at all with the game that is making this thing become a thing. It's already becoming a thing. It's not my job. It's just going to keep happening.
Yeah.
All I can do is just keep trying to stitch shit together.
Yeah.
And mostly work through other people.
Yeah. 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 Working through other people, I think is also definitely something that's well, it's not us working, it's more like recruiting, inviting other people to the work. And yeah, and I think this is where we are, and just and almost being the thing, I guess.
Yeah.
Just being in that space of presence that you can when there's a moment and an opportunity to create the vibe and to issue the invitation. And this is, I don't know, this is one of the ideas I'm playing with. Yeah, it's like how do we be walking invitations for and for people to participate in a different reality.
Oh yeah.
And to live it in the present.
Great, excellent. Somebody gave me information on this yesterday. It not in a self-aware way, but as you offer that question, I had a conversation about a nerd. One of the things that happened in Berlin as well is that one of these nerds started calling me Father Jeremy. And I was like, oh, well, that shit makes sense, actually, with this gospel of change thing.
Yeah.
And I started taking the character seriously.
Yeah.
And and we were talking about like fucking sacrament, like regalia, right?
Yeah.
Regalia, especially like the costume of that role. And then the whole conversation sort of shifted into like the intersection between cosplay and fashion, where like you don't know if somebody is just on a vibe or in a costume, right?
Yeah.
It like really breaks down and is like, what is happening here? This is so outside of the bounds of the everyday like jeans and t-shirt that like I don't know what's going on here anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's definitely a part of it, is the fashion is a vibe. And I've often thought, actually, like most of our costumes are, in fact, nearly all of the clothes that we wear are somehow militaristically originated. Like whether it's the t-shirt or the collar shirt or the tie, like all of this stuff is all of fashion has evolved from military means. So like the
Trench coats,
exactly. So
khakis, jeans.
Yeah. So how do we, like, so my question was always like, do we lean into that and then express our own thing through it, or do we come up with something completely alternative? But I think it's always going to be some degree martial, because it's where most of our fashion is rooted.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a I think the quote that comes to mind is that Martin Luther King one: "Those that must love peace must organize as effectively as those that love war." right?
Yeah.
So there does seem to be like an interesting vibe around an emerging coherence, right?
Yeah.
Like an aesthetic that is genuinely crowdsourced, right?
Yeah.
But that also is very organized, right?
Yeah.
That actually has a logic that can be articulated and abstracted, right?
Yeah. 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 So yeah, I love it. So one of the ideas I was playing with on this was call it the polyform. So rather than a uniform, you have a polyform. So people
Yes.
express it in their own way, but there should be a certain like visual language
Oh yeah.
that we understand, that when you see it, it's like, oh, hang on a minute, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that guy was just but they're also expressing something else, and a lot of these symbols already
Yeah.
they're already there, so we just need to identify them or just propagate them and be more
Mm-hmm.
actively
Sure.
be more actively propagating, and
Yep.
doesn't need to be something that we go, okay, here is the symbols that you should use. It's more like,
Yeah.
here are the symbols that we recognize.
Yeah, exactly. This
And
it
then and
becomes much
then
more like ecosystem mapping, like
yeah,
like bird spotting. Like, do you
exactly.
see? Right?
Exactly. Like the nerd spotters guide.
Yeah.
Um
Yes.
and when you
Write that
identify
down.
that
Hold on. Someone write that down. The Nerd Spotter's Guide. Write that down.
nerd spotters guide, I'm writing it now.
Yes.
Um and then once that identifies almost the various memes that are operating within the space, or are contributing or aligned to the space, that we
Yes.
can better recognize one
Hmm.
another when we see each other in the wild. And
Yeah.
almost yeah, perhaps also this relates to another project I was playing with called Talk to Me Bubbles, which is you actually write on yourself what you want to talk about. It's kind of obvious, but you stick it to yourself, and
Hmm.
you wear it in public. But it might also be just like creating that symbolic invitation. If you see somebody with this and you see their other symbols, then
Hmm.
you are actively invited to talk about
Yeah,
things.
for sure.
That you have
I
that
which I
opportunity.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Which I think is totally the vibe. 1,000%. There's like lots of fucking anecdotes pop up in response to this. One, the most recent being like when I showed up to Refi Body Chata in like 2003 or some shit.
Mhm.
Like, so I went to Body Chata to hang out with Joe Brewer and see how he's doing this fucking bioregionalism shit in Colombia. And
Mm,
I showed up and I fucking shit you not, I experienced for the first time that I was part of a sort.
mm,
Like I saw so many fucking nerds like wearing the same shoes I got, the same pants I got, like just in like such the same, like we were pod people, like we were spread
mhm.
out all over the fucking earth, right? I thought I was an original player. I just found these things and I like them, right? I
Yeah,
found them ages ago and I like them and I've been fucking with them ever since. And then I find all these motherfuckers, like we come together in this place and I'm like, oh my God, I feel like the fucking, what is it? The Megans, like, the pod people, all the girls that are fucking in the like light khakis and fucking trench coats. They all are just versions of the same thing. I felt that for the first time. So there is an emergent order
yeah.
that is certainly happening. It got to such a degree that I was at the train station in Utrecht, and I walked up to this nerd on the train platform, and I just said, I was like, "Yo, nerd, you look like the type of nerd I be knowing. Like, not like I know you, but you look like the type of person I know.
Yeah,
So what's up?" And then I was like, give me your, like, what are the words you like? Like, what do you do? What are you on
yeah.
about? And then he said something like, oh yeah, facilitating, like fucking design and facilitating design and innovation. And I was just like, of course, of course. Yeah. I love all of these words. How did you know? Yeah, it was obvious, right? In the fucking aesthetic, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and it's almost just like recognizing that we are specific with specific fruits of the earth and just go, okay, yeah,
Mhm.
that's my fellow fruit over there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what I like is that this is a very interesting way of like bringing back something that I'm only starting to really fucking grok, which is archetypes,
Yeah.
right? Like, fucking everybody has been fucking hijacked by materialism and fucking Cartesian blah 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 blah. And I think I'm a fucking person and that I'm responsible for my behavior and that I'm an individual, but we are fucking embedded and enmeshed,
Mm,
entangled in complex interactions that nobody is responsible for,
mm,
and yet everybody is like confronted with. So
yeah.
like we have to deal with them. um, they're literally no one's fault. They are literally everyone's fault.
Mm,
And like this idea of a nerd spotter's guide becomes an interesting um, invitation into that archetype and into ideology and its
mm,
visual expressions, right? I
yeah.
remember when I was in middle school, I had like the awareness that like people, like the thing that was going to determine whether I had shit in common with someone was whether we listened to the same music, right? If we
Mm,
listened to the same music, then our whole fucking like salience landscape was aligned towards similar types of shit. And
mm,
like this idea of a nerd spotter's guide could be a good, interesting way of like getting into that vibe and like making the belief systems of different aesthetics visible, right? Because
yeah.
all of these things are ontologies, right? They're all ways of being, different vibes.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think that's often some people are deliberately and consciously aware of it, and then others aren't. But by making it more visible, um, it also creates its own directionality in a way,
Hmm.
towards archetype expression that it's like, yeah, actually this archetype resonates with me. This is like
Yeah.
this is a set of ideas that I'm
Hmm.
interested in. Like these are the information loops that I'm carrying, the words
Yep.
that I resonate with emotionally. These are the vibes and the feelings and like how I interact with a space and where I derive my sense of purpose from. So it makes sense that I would be expressing that physically, that other people can read it, that I can make
Hmm.
myself legible, that I can experience more of that. And
Yeah.
it's something actually I'm in the process of kind of creating at the moment because my own personal fashion expression has very much been created more by need and and inaccessibility
Hmm.
of what I would like to be wearing. And so, so yeah, and yeah, but this is yeah, this is also maybe also another invitation, like that if you see somebody is of a vibe and that we are all a part of the same collective thing, like should we be just individually dressing ourselves, or should this be a part of the systemic invitation that the system is providing what we need. And it's like
Uh-huh.
I'm of this archetype in order that I can engage with the world more readily and effectively. This is the clothes that I want. If I'm a part of
Hmm.
the priesthood or whatever specific archetypal um, self-organized emergent thing that's
Hmm.
happening, then I should be robed appropriately. And it's also
Hmm.
like an invitation for others to help us communicate that better.
Yeah.
Um, and I think more and more this is where we should be going, to move away from the I have to do everything myself to
Hmm.
how do we do stuff better together? If we
Yeah.
identify somebody is of
Yeah.
benefit, how do we support them
Hmm.
where we're in a position to do so?
Yeah. Yeah.
And also how do we create the invitation to be and receive support without having a sense of shame about it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like no, it's like fuck this, enough of this. Like all of the money flows, all of the resource flows are defined by our service to the old system.
Mhm.
I should have no shame and say, no, I don't want to serve the old system. I'm serving this
Mhm.
system. This
Mhm.
system isn't paying me.
Yeah.
Um, I need to receive these things. Um,
Mhm.
and I can move beyond money as long as I'm receiving those things.
Mhm.
But I still need those things and need to not
Yeah.
be worrying about those things, because that's how it
Mhm.
always grabs us back. I
Yeah.
think it's where we get pulled
Exactly.
away
It's the fucking
directionally.
scarcity.
Is
It's the
yeah,
scarcity creates
yeah,
such a sense of urgency. It
exactly.
loses all fucking chill of like fucking like find out. Like
Yeah,
just like shit is coming. Like
yeah.
just hang in there, yo.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah, exactly. But it's as soon as yeah, it was coming up in a in another discussion that as soon as
Mhm.
yeah, as soon as money enters the equation, then a lot of these regenerative boards, or like people that are like orientated by value, and
Mhm.
suddenly this alternative value system comes in that
Mhm.
everybody needs just to fucking survive, and
Mhm.
then suddenly everything goes to shit because
Yeah.
everybody's grabbing around trying to meet
Yeah.
their need.
Exactly.
And it's that needs to be, that
Mhm.
needs to be recognized. We have needs, and that's okay.
Yeah.
um
I
and
think the best
we have
I
a
think that
right to service and to be
yes,
served
yes.
and to receive what we need because we want to serve the earth.
Yeah.
So
And I think the directionality on this has more to do with adjacency.
mm,
Right. So what I can so I'm making a relationship between this and working through other people. The comment that came up earlier, I was trying to call that back. And so this thing came up. There's this project that I've been dying like to have come into existence, right? And it finally sort of comes into existence in a particularly like in the kind of like full-throated self-aware way that is lets you know that like okay, something's right, like the
mm,
timing's right for this thing. And
yeah,
I've been fucking hyperstitioning and daydreaming and fucking obsessing about this thing for fucking literal years. And the timing is now right and it is coming together. And it happens in this moment where my capacity is fucked. Like it's so
yeah,
obviously fucked that I can do nothing. I
yeah,
can do nothing to be of service to this thing. The only thing I can do to be of service is to find someone who has the capacity to care about the things I care about
mm,
and to point at that motherfucker and go,
yeah,
hey, you
yeah,
know, I want this. I want this. And it's not me. It's this nerd right now.
mm,
Like, so whatever piece of like street cred or authority or reputation that I have in this
mm,
context,
yeah,
put it over there, give it to that guy. Right.
yeah, yeah,
And I think that to me has been a real good signal because it
mm,
feels fucking great because the things that I'm concerned about are being taken care of.
yeah,
I don't have to do shit,
yeah,
right? How great is that? And I'm wondering in the context of especially the needs question,
mm,
how that pattern could inform the need question, right? And I think they're like intuitively as soon as I ask this, like I think this kind of notion of virality comes up.
mm,
Like virality doesn't happen because we all click the like button. Virality
yeah,
happens because I click the like button and I send it to you and the whole fucking group chat of my fucking
mm,
friends. And I'm like, oh
yeah,
my God, look at this shit, right?
mm,
So there's something about that like okay, there is need here that is like directing attention towards that need.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think is a real good move.
yeah. No, attention and yeah, and as a result, resource flow. And I think what was
Yeah.
coming up for me was is the interesting thing that that I think of is potentially embedded in this visible value system. That if you have something that you're clearly of service to, so these are the value systems that I'm serving. This is how I'm doing it. So these are the receipts. This is the evidence of of the work that I'm looking for recognition for,
Mhm.
and this is what I need to move forward. And
Mhm.
where somebody's system of value aligns, then rather than, because at the moment the trend or the tendency is like, I believe in animal welfare or whatever, and then they're like, okay, so I'm going to be individually, personally, a vegan. I'm not going to eat meat
Mm-hmm.
or consume dairy,
Yeah.
just to
Yeah.
take veganism as an example.
Mm-hmm.
But that that individualism actually has the least potential impact um, for actually having an impact on that system. It would be
Mm-hmm.
better just to say, okay, I'm going to pick one thing within that system and find somebody that is working on that one thing, and then
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna support them in the
Yeah.
development of that one thing. So if there's somebody that's, if you actually take it down to animal welfare,
Mm-hmm.
how do we be in right relationship to chickens, etc., then there are patterns that can arrive if somebody's actually creating a system that would allow for people to get their eggs. The chickens have enough space. They're producing compost as
Mm-hmm.
a byproduct. They're eating well. They're living a good life, and it's creating those flows and making that resource more readily available to people. It actually has a greater contribution and impact towards, even if it's not
Yeah.
um, not eating anything and not having any relationship with anything. It's improving
Mm-hmm.
the human
Yep.
relationship with the animal. It's improving
Yeah.
animals' life and quality of life, and it's moving everything in a greater direction
Mm-hmm.
than not consuming for every day. And it's creating
Yeah.
feedback flows and mechanisms like so how do we create that directionality that instead of when we have a system of value that we just apply it to ourselves, instead we go, hang on, who
Mm-hmm.
shares these values and what
Yeah.
support do they need to embody them? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
the alternate, yeah, I think it ties in perhaps with the whole effective altruism thing, which has gone kind of radically wrong. But there's something at that core, like,
Yeah.
okay, so people need to eat, you value this, just just help build the
Yeah.
systems that allows people to eat
Yep.
within this system of value, and more of
Mm-hmm.
that is going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there are plenty of
Well,
people with resource and systems of value that could allow for those things to happen and help those things to happen, and um,
yeah.
and have a much greater impact than doing everything themselves.
Yeah, yeah. It's right story, wrong story,
Yeah,
right? It's
yeah,
this, it is this idea of like the things that we can do together are of a completely different kind.
yeah,
Like they become a different class, a different category than the things that we can do individually,
yeah.
right? Like, and because, and as soon as like, regardless of the action itself, right? Because we're in that additional class, like there is like, so coming back to this idea of like it has the opportunity of coming to life,
Mm,
right? It
yeah,
has the opportunity of becoming a self-organizing criticality.
mm,
It has the
yeah,
opportunity of being like just like, to me sustainable comes to mind,
mm,
because when I have to do it, it is vulnerable because of the ebb and flows of my energy
mm,
level,
yeah,
the ebbs and flows of my personal stability, right? If the why, to use one example, if this design call, so if this design call that I did for a while is just me doing it, which it was,
mm,
it lasted for a while and it was great, but it ended when my energy ended, right?
mm,
Whereas if it's a thing that any amount of us do together, it's not a guarantee, but at least the possibility exists that
mm,
when my energy is ended, it still
yeah,
continues, right?
yeah, yeah.
And just to have that possibility makes it like opens up like the world of possibilities, right?
Mm, yeah, and it creates it creates fragility because it's, I mean, and I think especially with people like us who have so many ideas coming through, it's like I can't hold an idea.
Mm. No,
I
yeah,
cannot be responsible
yeah,
because I will chase after the next bone that comes along. So
yeah.
I need to be proactively, as you say, pointing people in the right direction, saying, look at this.
Hmm.
This is or this is a seed that
Yeah.
that you could be growing. You're invited to grow this one. And
Hmm.
if you're in this area, or your system of value and exploration is in this thing, then work on this thing, on creating it. but also don't get lost in organizations, because I think this is also where
Mhm.
people start
No, no.
drawing the little boundaries. It's like, okay, I've got my
Mm-mm.
I've got
Mm-mm.
my organization, or I've got my business, and
Yeah.
this is driven again by
Yeah.
the scarcity mindset. But it's like,
Yeah.
does it? Yes, sometimes we need organizations because we need to interface with the old system. But most of the time, we've got enough organizations in play that
No.
we can just tap into one another. So there's things like
Hmm.
fiscal sponsorship. There's things like just kind of symbiosis and symbiotically plugging into each other's resource and organizational capacity. And as soon as you create the organization, you create another fucking overhead.
Yeah.
And then half your time, or more,
Yeah.
go to just dealing with all of the
Interfaces.
organizational bullshit of those interfaces.
Interfaces. Yeah, it's like,
And
so organizations require interfaces. That's the
yeah,
problem. They
yeah,
require affordances.
yeah,
And all of those affordances are situational. Like we decide centralization or decentralization, autonomy or fucking integration. We
mm,
is a place by place decision. But that place by place decision, the decision I make in this place has consequences for the affordances and interfaces that are available to me. And they have the consequence of how my choice of this
mm,
context
yeah,
creates the set of interfaces and affordances that
yeah,
allow us to interoperate,
yeah, yeah,
right? And organizations by virtue are a separating entity. Like
yeah,
they
exactly.
create here, here, here. Can't
So
go blind dog cannot go running into the street. Mhm. I know. You're excited. I know. Come here. Just keep digging. Was a great hole you were working on.
I'm curious now about blind, like how much impact it has been blind when there's so much smell and everything else. But anyway, that's
She is not bothered.
yeah,
Do
yeah,
not no, she requires no sympathy from
yeah,
any human. Like she
yeah,
is not bothered whatsoever.
yeah.
It's just a little funny and sometimes kind of saddish because she runs into everything at every different speed she moves, right?
Yeah, I can
But
imagine glass walls are especially a problem, but things without odor. Anyway, that's something we don't need to drift off down.
I mean, maybe. So,
Stay.
so here we are. We're talking about the social aspect. So there's another piece that was around the aesthetic, and I think it's again, these are self-organizing archetypical processes that are already happening and are unstoppable. They're just happening in the background all the time. Like monkey see, monkey do, right?
Mm,
The
yeah,
moment I put something on, the the moment that one of you nerds sees it. And if that shit vibes, that shit vibes. And it
yeah,
just becomes more and more of like, oh, okay, well, that's the lexicon
mm,
of this particular space, of this niche.
yeah,
Right?
yeah, exactly. To express it. I'm also curious about, like, you because we were talking very much on on a higher level about pointing to the things that we need to be done. What was the
Mhm.
thing that you felt needed pointing at right now that you feel is emergent?
Um,
Because here's an opportunity to point at it.
mhm,
Right.
mhm. Yeah, yeah. So in terms of what think needed, I can see mostly what is happening.
Mm,
For me, the move is just the continuous connection of things, right?
mm,
So it's connecting what already exists.
yeah.
So because of the fact that organizations, like first, I want to put a pin in that, like organizations are best when they are verbs and not
Mm,
nouns, right?
yeah.
Organization is an again the enactment, the embodiment. It is a thing that we do, right? And the act of
Mm,
organization, right, is a good thing. That's what
yeah.
that is approximately
Mm,
equivalent of like
yeah.
life, right?
Yeah.
Is the organizing
Mm,
of shit.
mm,
And not in like I hate the way that word like brings up obsessive compulsive disorder when I say organize things. I don't
mm,
mean that. I just mean to create or like organizing things, like
mm,
just connecting things that already exists is an act of organization.
mm,
It's saying, oh yeah, those two things are the same. Those things are the same. And in
mm,
terms of like the global brain, I think that
mm,
is really the thing that we can keep doing. It's like
mm,
connecting. There's a bunch of on ramps
mm,
um, to the vibe, And but these things are these things are obviously all connected.
Yeah.
But as one as an individual enters any of those access points, they enter
Yeah.
into any of those niches, it is not obvious to them
Yeah.
that they should be grabbing the adjacent thing that is
Yeah.
right next to it that totally resonates and vibes,
Yeah.
um, but is like but is also a totally different thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's a different
Yeah.
facet of it.
Yeah. And I think part of that is that we fall into the trap, because I say we because it's also, you know, it's
Mhm.
I do
Human.
it, uh of thinking, or I think our survival in the existing system is predicated on us seeing organizations as separate from what we're doing, because we need those little structures to create safety for us in a hostile environment that's oriented towards scarcity.
Oh yeah, for sure. We need a
um
membrane.
and but to break those systems down, one of the things that was coming through for me also, because we're talking about archetypes, so to give it a name, like, let's call it the mycelial mages. and
Uh-huh.
and they look at the, and I think this is what the energy, or one energy, because I think also we can have different archetypes, like there's multiple archetypes and moves that we can play, and perhaps also this is allowing for it kind of could lead into multiple personality disorder, but it could also lead into multiple personality K order, where we can choose which hats we're wearing and when. But
Mhm.
the mycelial mage's responsibility is to kind of weave ourselves into organizations to establish a symbiotic or symbiogenic relationship with them,
Sure.
um, that, and to assist with the flows of information resource, but also of decomposition and
Mhm.
recomposition.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
it's to be able to say, okay, what don't you need here? Because
Mhm.
actually you're not an efficient body. Um,
Yeah. So can we
so,
get
so
rid of this shit, that
yeah,
shit, and this shit?
can we just, yeah, get rid of this shit, and or use this resource for
Yeah.
something else, for somebody else that needs it, um,
Mhm.
and move that and reorientate it into another body that the system needs, because not everybody needs to be doing exactly the same thing. And it's even with coherence, probably
Yeah.
there's probably about 4 or 5 at least other projects that are trying to do exactly the
Oh
same
yeah.
thing.
Well,
And
this is okay though. It's like this
yeah.
is like cultural redundancy.
Mm,
Like I think there are a number of what I would call different coherence
mm,
engines.
yeah.
Like they're like a lot of really good solid attempts
Yeah.
of coming to this place uh of like of of searching for the self-organizing criticality, searching for like the threshold boundary conditions, like the trying to put smash shit together to
Mm,
make it really fucking
yeah.
vibe and sing. There's a lot of really solid attempts that are happening right now.
Mm,
And a lot of the in a lot of the same ways, right?
mm,
This to me really reminds me of the like this go we did a couple years ago with the World Wide Web, but I
mm,
think it's like it has information. Like it's a better it's a reiteration on that go.
mm,
It's-
yeah. No, I think it's yeah, I think it's good that there's a lot of them. The question is, again, to bring in this to bring in this process of weaving, or maybe this is, if they get to a space where they're likewise saying, okay, this is actually, this mycelial behavior is our purpose. So
Mhm.
how do we explore this ourselves also? What are the resources that we can
Yeah.
distribute?
Mhm.
How do we apply this across the board as we weave into other organizations?
Mhm.
And also, I think one of the ideas I think helps us move beyond scarcity is just to look at how much need there is for what we're doing. That we don't need to make it scarce. We need to replicate it as readily as possible. And
Mhm.
one of the ideas I've been working with my friends at Solarpunk now is like, how do we make the saving the planet our business, that everybody has this invitation of being able to come on board, that there are no boundaries to an organizational model, or that the boundaries become more permeable, in
Well,
terms of how
the
other organisms can
mhm,
intersect and interact, that there is an innate invitation towards satisfying a need and having a need satisfied,
mhm,
which is what natural systems offer readily. You know, they increase the surface area upon which things can grow. They
mhm,
increase the amount of nutrient flows that can allow others to increase the nutrient flows, that everybody is just
yep,
increasing food and shelter availability for every organism. And
mhm,
this is how a forest grows resilient
mhm,
and anti-fragile, is through these mechanisms
yep.
where everybody's
No
just focused on
billionaires in
producing more.
forests, though. I'll
What's
let
that?
you know. There's no a billionaire in a forest is erosion. Is an erosion gully,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Like the resources cannot be so concentrated, otherwise they
yeah,
create erosion,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
And they
yeah,
strip away the
yeah,
possibility
yeah,
of of dis of accumulation and
yeah,
distribution, right?
yeah, exactly. But also there's very little hunger where it's working. Like I was considering from the perspective of a
Mhm.
ladybird yesterday, because there's a glut of them here, but like
Uh-huh.
you know, they can't really have any direction. You know, they float up and they try and fly a little bit, but you know, the wind's blowing them. But wherever they land, they're gonna find food,
Right.
and this is kind of to create a billionaire ecosystem, or a, you know, that we're in this, we're in this space where wherever you land, you're provided for, and you can
Yeah.
connect and serve and identify how to serve and be served and receive what you need,
Yeah.
rather than creating, like you say, the erosion gully or the desert, where there's only one organism that can survive and everything else is just prey,
Yeah.
which is not a healthy relationship to be
Yeah.
having.
No, no, not at all. Not at all. Oh man. That's it. That's
All
it.
right. I think we got into some really good stuff there.
Yeah, yeah.
What's your vibe and what's your timing? Because I've got the kids on the distraction engines. I don't want to keep them there for too long.
No, no, for sure. I gotta get into getting your food on the table and all that shit. So
Yeah. Um,
I'll push the button on this. I don't know what to do with this file or any of that thing. I think the coherence, the official season ended, but I'm just getting started. So
yeah, no,
whatever.
it's they extended it by 2 weeks, so we're still
Okay.
actually in the framework,
All right.
and
There we go.
we can post it.
All
Um,
right.
so yeah, and
Have you done that before? Do you know what to do?
yeah, yeah, I've done one already, so you can send it over to me,
Okay.
and
I'll
I'll do
drop you
that.
the link in for the Zoom thing.
Yeah,
And
I think the other thing I'll do, because I don't think it's a part of it at the moment, is transcribe it, so I can send you the transcription,
okay.
um, that we can that we can get that up. I think this is another, yeah, this is a whole other discussion, is how we can
Sure.
make all of this
Yeah.
stuff more legible,
Yeah.
viral,
Well,
pick it out.
this is the next question. So
Yeah,
when it comes to these coherence engines, the big next question is one that is most nerds think of it as like an economy, but I think it's much more as organization V, it's knowledge management, right?
mm,
So
yeah,
how do we put things up in a way that they're legible for us, but also
yeah,
legible for anyone like us as
yeah,
well?
yeah, 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 exactly. And I think part of that is also, it's not just about legibility, it's
Hmm.
about uh I guess the term I'm looking for is related to kairos somehow, but I don't have it. But like
Hmm. Hmm.
it's not just about having the information, it's about having the information at the
Yeah.
time you need it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
In order
also,
to do something,
yeah,
right?
yeah, when we're doing something, this is the information that's pertinent to the thing that we're doing,
Hmm.
and this would be the what's the mushroom move, what's the best move in this situation,
Hmm.
that's applicable to this context, that we can replicate, so that we can easily understand, um yeah, this is what's to be done, this is how to do it, and so that we can then take clear action, rather than only relying on the patterns that we're aware of. And
Okay.
and especially when we're tired and exhausted, we just tend to go into the patterns that we're aware of. So maybe there's also another thing, which is like, how do we practice these patterns that they become almost like a mental muscle memory? Like what are these moves and practices that they become habit,
Yeah.
so that when we're in a situation of stress, we don't immediately default back to the old patterns, but
Yeah.
we apply the other ones, because this is also the thing, even though but this is a whole
Yeah.
other
Well, I call them
that's
liberating
related.
structures. I call
What's
them
that?
liberating structures.
Commemorating structures.
Liberating structures, right? So,
Liberating. I
yeah.
heard memorating, but I guess it's also
Same. Same.
so
Liberating
this is
structures.
what you're trying to do with your like zines, right? Because actually, I think
Yeah.
this relates. This is I think to some
Mhm.
degree the answer, like that probably within this in podcast discussion, whatever, like
Uh-huh.
there are multiple zines that could be
Yeah.
like, and how to distill those into 6 to 8 images that can be easily printed and distributed, or
Yeah.
could be little videos, like small videos that can likewise be
For sure. Value add.
replicated and broadcast and cut, and have
Yeah.
some.
It's worth prompting. It's worth prompting. See what kind of slop we can get crank out. Um, there's so just to put a point,
Yeah,
otherwise I will have missed my opportunity to stay on message.
yeah.
So liberating structures are ontological design tools. They're organizational games that enable you to every single one of which is very tailored towards what I would call the vibe, right? You use one of these things and the vibe is self-organizing. It's just
Hmm.
you're gonna find yourself in the vibe easier than you find yourself out of it, right?
Yeah.
And because of that, um, they mold into like the continuous practice and use of them transforms at some point from these tools, from these games, to
Yeah.
just a vibe that is continuously ongoing. You don't need the
Hmm.
tools, you don't need the games, because you've had enough time being immersed in it that you actually get how it's organized.
Yeah.
You actually get what it is. So there's a specific developmental pathway that Nancy, one of the treasures of the liberating structures community, describes as the developmental path for a liberating structures user starts out as mechanical application, like we're using tools, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then like at some point becomes mystical, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's the developmental pathway. It just
Yeah.
becomes a way of being.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think that's definitely the way to operate. I guess the framework I'm thinking it kind of relates is that we're playing a game, and then that game becomes reality. That
Yeah.
it's it's an alternative. And that has its own magical pathway in a way. Because one minute
Yeah,
you're inviting
for
people
sure.
to fuck around, and then the next they're like, oh, we just discovered something entirely new about ourselves. And
Yeah.
like the experience that we began with on the dance floor. Like, you didn't set out with
Yeah.
that intention, but then
Yeah,
it's emerging just from that invitation to play.
for sure. Shit
And
got
then
real.
yeah, I was wondering actually, as you were talking, like on the liberating structures thing, like, and this is an additional design challenge, but it's already a challenge sometimes to distill these things down to a zine. But what does it look like to have them on
Hmm.
a on one card? Um,
Yeah,
like
there's a deck of cards. They already
one
exist.
one prompt. What's that?
There's a deck of cards that already exist. Yeah, they were developed by Holisticon. They're pretty good. I would say the best use of the cards is as a design tool. It's
Mm-hmm.
really easy to see all of the structures and to try and narrow it down to picking one through those cards. The cards don't actually work super well for giving you everything you need to actually play the game, right?
Yeah.
It's a little compressed, but it
Mhm.
depends on the size of the card. Like a card at an A5, right, would probably work.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Like
mean,
I think there's cards that are a little smaller
yeah.
that help a lot, but
Yeah. No, I'm playing with the idea of having cards that are linked to AR.
uh-huh.
So that on one hand it has kind of the gateway prompt or invitation or the core information, but then
Uh-huh.
it can open up into more different worlds, or perhaps show different relationships, show different cards,
Oh
so that
yeah.
you can look at it both as a discrete thing, but also as in more depth, in more detail, and
Have you talked to
different
Josh
interactions.
Field yet?
Who?
Josh Field?
No.
Okay. He made a product that is called it was at one point called XR, Extended Reality. It's
Mm-hmm.
an in-browser fucking blah 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 AR XR engine.
Mm-hmm.
So I think you should talk to Josh
Mm-hmm.
because he gets that shit.
Yeah.
And I did one of the first things I did in this space many years ago. Not the first things, but the first thing I did with other nerds in this space was the liminal DAO. And we talked about this application called Conjure, which I think we're still coming. It's still um, it's still manifesting,
Mm.
but I think what you're describing feels like same there. So
Mm-hmm. Nice. Okay.
let's get you talking to Josh for sure.
Yeah. 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 There's time. There is time. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, let's make that happen. It's been an absolute pleasure, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we covered a lot of ground. I think we need to yeah,
Yeah.
now it's like how do we distill this? How do we communicate it that people don't have to watch the whole thing?
Dance floor.
Make it
Dance
more
floor.
accessible. Maybe
The
they love
dance
it.
floor.
Was that the dance floor? Yeah,
Dance
exactly.
floor. Dance floor.
Yeah, come join us on the dance floor, people.
Yeah, exactly. It's so much better than listening to a nerd out about the show.
Yeah,
The vibe is
exactly.
so much better than talking about the vibe. I promise. I
But
promise.
yeah, and talking about the vibe is already good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's pretty good. All
Awesome.
right,
So
man. I'll
are
see you
you
around, Jay. Have a
yeah,
great day,
are
nerd.
you going to be in Berlin in August?
Yeah, for sure. I'll be popping in for at least, I think, 10 days is what I'm targeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Through like the 7th to the 17th or some shit like that.
Sweet, man. That's perfect. Because on the 8th, I'm
Oh, yeah.
hoping to do like this global storytelling jam. So I guess this is actually maybe an
Oh, excellent.
application of the dance floor idea to create that invitation
Hells yeah.
for people to come create with us in the space. And so
Hmm.
yeah, it'll be good to have you around for that.
Yeah, let's fucking go.
We can get cooking. And yeah, I'll send you my thoughts on that, as I need to start cooking it now. So
Dope.
all right, sweet. Okay, enjoy. Absolute honor, sir. And
For sure. This is the vibe, Jay.
have
Keep
a
it
wonderful
pushing.
day. Take care. Bye.